Every day we wait, they get stronger.
Let's take them by surprise.
For the greater good.
Call it what you will.
Let's call it war.
Hello and welcome to Going Rogue, Explosion Network's up show where we break down and discuss each and every episode of Andor until the show is finished, which is now. My name's Dylan Blight and joining me this week, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here. The show's not over, it's retired.
Based on Tony Gilroy saying he nearly didn't even finish the second season.
It's also not over because we're doing a Rogue One. What? Rewatch next week.
That's tangential. This television series is over.
It is.
This week we are talking about the last 3 episodes of Andor and Andor Season 2. They are... God, I hate when these Chrome tabs crash.
Make it stop.
Thank you.
I can't remember the second one.
God damn. Hold on. Please hold.
The third one's Jedha.
The last one's Kyber.
Kyber.
The last one's... All right, so
Erso.
it's Make It Stop. Who else knows? Jedha,
it.
Kyber, Erso. Good. You'd think I could remember such simplicity, simple things, especially since this is the latest we've recorded this show since the show started airing. A whole day later, $1 short. You know what I mean? All right. Well, I mean, look, the last 3 episodes very, I think, very tight sort of story here. So I don't think we should get too confused on what's happening. We don't do a lot of jumping backwards and forwards. It's more straightforward. What did you make though of the end?
It stuck the landing, Obviously, expectations super high. Everybody's loving the show. So if it had botched the ending, we would have all been very sad. But thankfully, it did not. It was good to the end, and then it kind of... Yeah, I'm very intrigued how I'm going to feel watching Rogue One next week and after this. But as it is, fantastic season of television.
How do you feel about... Because I agree. To me, they landed the ending. I have no problems. We're coming on every week saying, it's great, it's great, it's great, it's great. It continued to be great. It was great until then. People saying that the finale wasn't as good because it spent less time with Andor, with Cassian.
You're going to get a whole hour, another hour and a half of Andor. 2 hours of Andor, of Cassian in Rogue One.
Yeah, that's what I think. And I also think that's why when we talked last week, and I said something along the lines of, this felt like the end of like Cassian's story now. Like that felt like the end, And I think when I started these 3 episodes and the first one had him not in it at all, I didn't even care because I'd already had those feelings. I'm like, this felt not his end, but like as far as like his trajectory across this show leading him into Rogue One. Like last week, I was like, I could easily fill in the small gaps now. Like I don't necessarily need a lot more from him. If
you're of the opinion that this show was about only Cassian Andor, you were dumb and you didn't watch the show properly.
Yeah,
This is the show about the rebellion as a whole.
Yeah. I think the name is just a marketing thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's just like, what do we call it? Can we call it this? Can we call that? No, it's got to be something more recognizable. That character that everyone definitely knows his name. Andor.
They already called the one show Rebels, so they...
Yeah. They really... If they hadn't...
Yeah, probably.
Definitely would have been called Rebels. All right, let's attempt to go through the story as it happens across these 3 episodes. I got to just quickly before I click play, like I bring up, you go to Disney Plus and I see like 1 hour 48 minutes 48 minutes. I go 1 hour 48 minutes 48 minutes. I'm like, where's my 90 minutes each episode? Yeah, but that's fine. So obviously, what do we say the first one's called? Make It Stop. Make It Stop counts with Luthen meeting up with Lonni, ISB supervisor. We're now BB1. So we're getting really hot on the ass of Rogue One's timeline.
Well, I mean, technically this takes place like the 72 hours. Maybe even 48 hours before Rogue One starts.
Yeah, well, it's going to be... Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, by the end of it does. I don't know. You could the start of this episode through to the end of the 3 episodes.
I think it's less than 48 hours.
Yeah, okay. It could be not. I don't know. It's hard to. You don't know how long
it is.
I
don't know how you could. I haven't seen anywhere confirmed, but I'm pretty sure based on context clues.
It's just that whole weird thing about like travel in space in Star Wars. Like
it's hyperspeed.
Yeah, no, but sometimes they say hyperspeed takes a lot longer than. It just it depends on plot reasons for how long it takes. I think
Yavin is much closer to Coruscant than you think.
Well,
which is surprising. I hasn't found it anyway. I will say at the start of this episode, it starts with Kleya and Luthen coming across a signal in the back of the shop.
Yeah, the back cove.
And they get prepared to go see Lonni, and she's like, what's the line?
If it looks,
if it's not perfect, then we walk away.
Yeah,
and Luthen's like, we ran over perfect a long time ago. But then she also says, tuck in your shirt. And that is the first moment in this entire series I thought, I wonder what the connection between these two people is.
Yeah, little did you know.
How did they come together?
Yeah. How did they come together? We'll get to that. So yeah, Luthen meets out with Lonni, who tells him, he's frantic. He's I've got information I need out. We need to leave. But basically he says that Dedra is on to him, and that she's like organizing a crew to come take Luthen down. He doesn't seem shocked at all because, I mean, he's as I talked about last week, he's accepting of this is going to happen. Like he knows that fuse is running out every single day he stays on the planet, But yeah, basically he reveals what would be the plot of Rogue One, which is secret weapon, throws out the name Galen Erso, says it's about Kyber crystals, connects all the different Jedha to Gorman.
This is the first time they mentioned that Gorman's the minerals are fuel for the Death Star, which I thought was interesting because they kind of danced around it when they brought it up the first time.
I don't know if they strictly said, but like you they need it for something to do with the Death Star. So.
Yeah, well, I think you suspect, yeah.
So then Luthen basically has to convince Lonni to give him all the information he needs and tells him he'll come to Yavin and all this sort of stuff. It's all a lie because then we see that he shoots him. As ruthless as we'll see Cassian be in our rewatch at the start of Rogue One, I guess. But
yeah, just poor Lonni, he didn't deserve that. He was a good soldier. Despite a couple of moments of weakness.
His family's safe though, because he dies.
Yeah, I mean that's the best way to keep his family safe.
Yeah. So, so Luthen gives the information to Kleya. Sorry, I meant to point. To Kleya, they have looked back and forth. Kleya's going to go wait for him at the ship or something like that. And then Luthen goes back to their Batcave to destroy all the evidence, basically, and he pours acid or some shit across the computer and everything like that. And then he basically has a ring at the door, puts on the full Luthen. Yeah. Well, yeah, whatever he is.
Yeah.
Full props to Stellan Skarsgard because he flicks between
the rebel and the salesman.
Rebellion is it? Oh, hello!
Yeah,
that's quite. Yeah, it's good. She shows up and she's playing. She's just playing bullshit. She's just enjoying it a bit too much, to be honest.
I mean, that's the whole thing. She's kind of soaking in the moment.
Yeah. Of
finally being in arm's reach of access that she's been chasing this entire time.
Mm-hmm. She brings out the Star Path thing from season 1. And reveals that, she's deduced everything. It's finally, after years.
Yeah.
Years and years, they're like, oh, down the street. Yeah. And I don't know if, in case I forget to mention that later, but I love how all this down the street and then that lady later when she's there, they come back the next episode or whatever it is. And it's like, oh, they were jumping off the Empires. Our broadcasting signal's really clever. And that one guy
just no, not the time to talk like that.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Luthen then takes off the metaphorical wig. Just goes on a whole thing where he says about how great the rebellion is. He's like, he basically says, "You dumb bitch, the rebellion's not here anymore. It's flown off. It's left. You idiot.
It's flown away. There's a whole galaxy to disgust you."
Yeah, which was one of my favorite lines from the
his final words.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So,
unless you want to count. Don't know if we count that though. So then he like turns around and she's like, that's it. I've got the place surrounded. You're fucked, mate. She says, but Luthen says, nah, because I've got this. Remember that knifey thing I just brought over?
Hey, so funny in hindsight. You know
that knifey thing that I brought over and said that I wasn't sure if it was a fake or not. Well, let's find out.
It doesn't matter. It's sharp either way.
Yeah.
Oh man. Just the fact that she's quote been dreaming about this moment. She never thought that he would they thought that he was going to come willingly.
Yeah, she's so smart, but
so smart.
Comprehend the idea of someone taking themselves out of the picture like that. I guess.
Yeah. Also, obviously, he's there destroying the communication array, with mercury or aluminum, with adamantium.
Some hardcore acid.
Just putting it through, which would look really cool.
Yeah. And she looks over the back and just sees the smoke flying off. It's like, what have you done?
What have you done?
What have you done again? You've outplayed me on both sides. Quick, someone get in here, save him. I fucked up.
I should just captured him straight away.
Yeah. I really shouldn't have been as predacious as this. Hey. No, Dedra. No, you should not. Anyway.
It all goes downhill from her.
It really does go all downhill.
She gets a moment of saying, "I found you," and then just
shit creek afterwards.
Yep.
Don't feel bad for her at all. So then she calls in. Basically, they wrap him up, send him off to hospital. Kleya sees all this. Now, throughout this, we start seeing these intermittent flashbacks. So I think it's probably just easier to tackle that and then get to the hospital invitation. So the origin story for them when the first time we got it, I was like, I'm down to learn more about their relationship. I hadn't really ever wondered too much, to be honest, because I guess you're just so focused on the characters around them most of the time.
Yeah.
Never slow down enough to go, what's your
story?
But basically, it's Luthen's Imperial soldier. I actually don't know. I
assume it's Imperial because I assume it's as the Empire is keying off post.
Oh yeah,
Revenge of the Sith. So
he's an Imperial soldier. They're like taken down. People are fighting back. Blah blah blah. He doesn't like what he's.
Well, it pretty much is implied by the audio that they're committing another massacre, as they do.
Yep. They love a good massacre. Them the Imperial Army, the Empire. So and then there's this little girl hiding away on the ship from that planet. And he keeps her hidden, and sort of we get a few. We cut back 3 or 4 times to that ship, I think, to really build the Luthen having a mental breakdown, and again, technically his name might not even be Luthen. Like
it isn't.
It might have been it's just a name he starts using.
He's called Sergeant Leia.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
In it, so I don't imagine his first name is Luthen.
Yeah, okay. So makes sense.
His last name is not Rael.
Hides his identity, and her name's definitely not Kleya.
Well, we don't know.
So then we see them sort of over the course of the episodes start to forge their bond and work their way up in the world, where it's pretty obvious that he says to her, "Come with me, we'll get our revenge," basically, and then I'll protect you or whatever. And they head off, and then at all points we have this. I think obviously we see them. The first flashback, we see their relationship with trading, about how it also cements that they're not just picking up shit willy nilly and just they always know what they're talking about, and that's why they're able to, I guess, trade to high. They always know the worth of everything they have and its history, and they're able to do that and play on people's was about to say human nature, but they could be aliens. But their nature to get the best trade they can, and presumably all this trading backwards and forwards and knowing the worth of things, and just I guess using that intelligent factor that not everyone has. That's what enables them to slowly move up in the world over the years. But then we get the interesting one where we're on another planet and they are buying something, or they're trading something, and the Empire's like walking all these people down through his courtyard, and then they just do a public execution shooting gallery, like very very Nazi-esque for this non-political Star Wars. Whoa, don't know, guys, there might be some politics in here. So they do that, and she obviously gets shitty because she wants them to do something. She wants them to fight back, and Luthen basically says that more or less we've got to pick our time and place. He's I can't remember the exact line, but it's like we'll lose and lose and lose and lose and lose, so we can fight another day and win when it counts, sort of thing. Which is very much like that's been his mentality and set up from the get-go, and he says something similar to Andor in the first season, I think, when Cassian gets shitty at him about something in particular. He says something similar to the same effect. So always been the long game, which when we get to his death and like the arguments about people about how they treated him like another Saw Gerrera and all these sorts of things, but the long game got them there, sort of, whether or not anyone appreciates that or not. So anything else from the flashbacky stuff you want to touch on before? I thought the de-aging effect looked good for once.
No, I did. Well, yeah. I mean, Stellan Skarsgard looks great. Like, and just,
you could tell they could tell they de-aged him a little bit in that the first scene for sure.
Yeah.
Like I knew it, but it wasn't like shit. I could notice it because obviously it's not how he usually looks, but I wasn't like that looks terrible.
That's incredible makeup. Make it look good. No, I think really fantastic stuff. I loved all the lessons he kind of was delivering, and like obviously the way it was intercut with what was happening in present day with her infiltrating the hospital, and that I think worked really well. And I really loved. There's that alien who's standing behind her as they're killing all those people in the firing squad.
The Cookie Monster.
I thought it looked like a frog. He had met giant frog legs, but yes, it did have. I mean, it's more like Oscar the Grouch because it had like a
tin can
lid. So,
a few good aliens in these 3 episodes. We'll get to another.
But yeah, I kind of get the impression from this that maybe Kleya was more the reason that he got into the rebellion, which kind of was also. I don't know if you know this, but there's like an Andor after, like declassified or something put out by.
Yes, I haven't
Star Wars or whatever.
I haven't watched this.
And the actress pretty much said that Kleya's kind of conflicted because she kind of doesn't forgive Luthen for his involvement in killing her family, but also, loves him as his father figure. But yeah, it's her hate that's kind of driving everything.
Well, I mean, I think this season in particular, because she's definitely one of those characters where in the first season she was 100% just a background person. Never thought about her often. Just assumed she was like his secretary, more or less.
It's
ridiculous. Assistant. It's like, who are you? I don't really care. Like, I don't think you're important. This season did such a good job out of nowhere of making her important without really putting it in your face and going, you'll need to care about this person by the end of the season. Like, they did enough from episode 1
to build her up over the season that you're like, yeah, she's really important. I care about her.
Yeah.
I hope she fucking makes it to Yavin at the end of these episodes.
Yeah.
And she's kind of the mastermind behind a lot of the tech that's allowed the rebellion to.
Yeah, and I think that's something they made sure they not that we didn't see her do it in the first season, but they really made sure this season you get to see her quite often correcting or pulling Luthen's head in, or the one who's doing all the techie stuff. Whatever, like you can tell that they show so much of her being hands on and super involved, and obviously then that hardcore tense scene with her getting the trap out,
the tracker out of
tracker out of the statue thing.
Yeah.
shows that as well. Yeah. So then, the last thing obviously is they go to Naboo.
Is Naboo?
Missa!
Has it been confirmed?
Yeah. Oh, I don't need confirmation. I know Naboo when I see it, Ash.
Okay.
You don't trust me?
I don't know. Yeah. Who knows how much Naboo has changed?
I'm pretty sure Anakin and Padme have dinner there.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they have dinner at the exact same restaurant.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Look up after for all you doubters. We're saying it's Naboo unless I'm proved wrong, at which point I'll apologize. But yeah, they have that. What do you think of the scene there where they have the back and forth about giving her control of the button and then taking away from her? And
I think it was just, Luthen giving her the choice to turn back. And like, we can go back. We can just have a normal life. We can. You don't need to put this blood on your hands. That kind of thing. Kind of making sure that she is fully committed to this, and this is the life that she kind of wants, as any father figure would want for their child. He's like he waits until she's about to do it, so he can see that she was about to do it. Just I guess to see that she's willing to go there, but then pulls it away. I guess to keep blood off her hands for as long as possible. At least that's how I took it. I guess because he does it anyway. Like. And yes, all these articles saying Naboo, Star Wars has gone back to Naboo for the first time in 26 years. So, thank you. How could you not tell, Ash? That bridge in the background? That's Naboo. Okay. The Phantom Menace video game, you go across that bridge in the Phantom Menace video game. I'm telling you right now, PS1, never forget. All right. So then Kleya infiltrates the hospital in a very cool scene. Sneaks in, uses a sonic lock. I don't know. To get into someone's locker until they have the right clothes, dresses up, sneaks through the hospital, kidnaps an old lady. Yes, that was what a great character. Yeah, it's all right. We'll just check you in here, dearie. And then when she's left alone, she's just sitting there with her feet dangling. Great character. But once again, they ruined Star Wars by putting humor where it wasn't necessary. It was necessary. No, it was necessary. It was quite funny. It helped. It was the one up the elevator that really got me. It's like, what? Yeah, just what? It's quite. Yeah, I think it goes to show that when done right, even in this super tense episode and what she's doing is super tense and high value and high risk, high reward, whatever. They have that little bit of comedy and it just doesn't derail. I think it's just all about balance, Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the setting also helps. Like, I don't know where they found this building that they shot in, but like all windows, very clear, incredible. And then obviously we got Dedra, clearing the level of all the doctors so they can completely focus on Luthen, before she gets taken away. So yeah, Kleya, she manages to sneak her way up there. Eventually she has to stop like several levels down. Dedra is court-martialed, basically, arrested for fucking the whole operation up and getting... No, that's not what she's arrested really for. That's what she thinks she's arrested for. Oh, she's fucked up for the leaks she's arrested for the leaks, but yeah, I don't think we find that. We don't find out until the next episode, yeah. She thinks she's there because the mission has gone sideways. Yeah. Which is funny. Yeah. In hindsight, it's super funny. She probably would have got arrested for that if it wasn't for one thing, I feel. Yeah, so Kleya manages to sneak up there, kills a couple people along the way, gets into Luthen's room. Well, before she gets to the floor, she blows up several spaceships. Oh, that's right. Connecting tissue to the Naboo flashback. And then is able to sneak past as everybody's rushing down to see, what's going on. Yeah.
And then she disconnects Luthen's life support and gives him a kiss on the head and end of episode. Yeah.
Just that slow lingering fade on Luthen's body.
Very slow lingering fade to the point that I thought
It's
it was
like,
frozen. And then the
at some
credits
point,
started playing.
You're like,
like
is he going to sit up at some point?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't just do it here. Because in case I forget. But the Luthen as a character in this series has to go down as like one of the best new Star Wars characters we've had in forever.
I'd say so. Like, I
also,
think you can make a case for several pit characters in this show, so I don't think it's
100%.
surprising.
But yeah, I just think 2 seasons, a supporting character as interesting as he was, and also again, I'll give him props for this because I gave him props for it last week, just as like being able to insert such integral stuff in this very tight space of Star Wars history. But again, inserting a character like that now whenever you're watching anything to do with the original trilogy, like Luthen's tied to it all now, you know? So wild. Then we go to episode 11, Who Else Knows? So it starts with Dedra being interrogated by Director Krennic, who... You wouldn't leak a fucking Death Star plan, would ya? Wouldn't leak the Death Star plans, would you, Dedra?
You wouldn't give Jung your codes, would ya?
Wouldn't leave your codes out, would you, mate? You wouldn't read some classified emails that went to the wrong recipient, would ya?
You wouldn't have a private email server, would you, mate?
Release the emails.
You know the one word I want you to say, right? Death Star. Which apparently, one word.
Yeah. Apparently, yeah, it's a good point, actually. Yeah,
despite what the subtitle said.
yeah, Death Star. Yeah, 2 words, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, basically, she's in trouble because someone logged in. We know it's Lonni. Had been logging into her private stuff for ages. But they think assume it's her because there's no way to prove that Lonnie's dead. And then Krennic / Ben Mendelsohn, I just want to give full marks because the part in this where he fucking puts his hand on her and then pokes her and all that sort of stuff, I'm like, my dude is going hard. Like I'm watching it, I'm ready to slap him, you know? Like,
yeah. Which is good to see Krennic kind of being the like intimidating force in this, because like in Rogue One, he's kind of like, you know, they keep kind of losing the entire movie.
I think that's sort of the point, right? We across this 2 seasons, and then when we rewatch Rogue One, you see all these characters in the Empire within high-ranking positions. They eat each other alive.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely. I mean, yeah, and by the time you see Krennic here throughout this series when he's at the height of his power and everything like that. But then when we go to our rewatch Rogue One, obviously we're going to start to see that Grand Moff Tarkin starts pushing back on him, and then, you know, Vader chokes him out, whatever the hell else. So, like, yeah, they all just... And there's another character, obviously... Oh, fuck it, I'll just go into here. The 3rd episode when the general dude kills himself as well.
Again, yeah.
Part again, like we'll touch on that a little bit later, but yeah, there's so many characters who really the thing with Dedra is she is smarter than most of them, and we know that watching it.
But there's a hierarchy.
But there's like she's her own worst enemy.
Yeah,
and also the way the system's set up, or the way that it's like she was never going to get anywhere. Like it's I don't know.
I think, you know, she could have, if she hadn't done this, you know, and hadn't kept all those emails, maybe she ends up working.
If she was the next Krennic, then she would end up like Krennic.
Yeah, probably. You know,
Grand Moff Tarkin, he eventually ends up being bitch slapped too.
Because that's what tyranny. Tyranny is so fragile. You know.
Yeah, really.
But the thing I really appreciate about this, like at the end, obviously Ben Mendelsohn's like, "Oh, we'll try and soldier on without you," as she is leaving the room, and it completely mirrors Cyril last season when he goes to see Dedra for the first time. He's interviewed in that room when he's trying to do secret, trying to find files and that kind of stuff. And like everybody's on the outside and he's stuck in this holding cell. Like completely useless, completely immaculate, left to be nothing. And that's pretty much how Dedra's left.
Yep.
All because she was keeping emails that she wasn't meant to.
Yep. That one word. Death Star. So then we have obviously the ISBs trying to hunt down Kleya. And I can't find who's they I'm trying to, what's the character's name? It doesn't really matter.
The Hurt.
Is that his name?
Yeah. Hurt.
The dude they put in charge?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Little bitch.
Yes,
so
the best thing about him is the way he goes out. So
it's great. Yeah. Perfect. Need that gif for that. So she basically Kleya's in the the one main secret place we've seen in this whole season.
The safe house, yeah.
The safe house. And she gets and hooks up, digs out of the wall they'd really hidden in there. This very like old.
They like buried a bunch of stuff in there that apparently nobody who'd stayed in that safe house ever found.
Well, why would you if you know where to dig in the wall? Yeah. So it's this really old tech, I guess. It's very.
It's like
anymore. It's like
junior version of the connection board.
And she starts sending out a message, I think at a specific time or like on a dot, like every hour or something. It's like
I think it's times like.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know who's going to hear it.
No. So she sends out,
It's pretty much just an SOS, yeah.
Yeah. And she's like waiting till that other device hits what I presume to be like a time. And then she does it again. So, yeah. So Cassian on Yavin, he is playing poker with K2SO and
Melshi.
Melshi,
that's it.
Melshi,
got there
which is very funny because it involves K2SO just getting very annoyed about how Melshi's betting and the odds of it not being right and all sorts of.
You better not be conspiring with me again.
Very good scene. I very much enjoyed just seeing them happy. I guess would be yeah. It's the last time they're happy, really.
Andor's place become kind of a bachelor pad.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah. They're just drinking. There's a lot of drinking in this show.
Yeah.
A lot of drinking in this show. But yeah, they're just drinking, playing poker. Yeah. KTRSO is very funny.
Yes.
Again, I thought we'd get more of him coming into the series because I thought that was going to try to want to like show that bond building. But in retrospect, that's fine. I didn't really know.
Did you see the story about the episode they couldn't do?
No.
So apparently they wanted to do like a horror episode.
15. Oh, really?
Where they're being hunted down by a K2SO droid on like a spaceship or something like that. But the budget, it was too big.
I'll never get my Star Wars horror
animated. Give us Tales of Andor. Fill in the year gaps.
Then Wilmon comes in because he's picked up the device with the signal because he's that girl from Gorman's like
his lover.
Who's texting you on the secret phone?
His Gorman lover.
Yeah.
Like,
what is this, Wilmon? Explain to me.
Yeah.
And then takes it to them. They instantly recognize what it is, which is a presumptuous secret SOS call. Luthen. So they head off again, disobeying orders.
Lots of orders. 18, rules. Some would say.
Yeah. Well, as K2SO likes to point out, would you like to know how many rules were disobeyed? No, and turn that off. 18 now. Yeah, so then they head off to Coruscant. And basically at the same time the Imperials looking through Luthen's place, they managed to figure out and get the same SOS signal and after
Dedra gives Hurt some help.
Yeah, without Dedra they wouldn't have been able to figure it out. That was nowhere near close to friggin' jack shit out. And they end up at the same like apartment complex, and for a second I was like, oh.
I also love there's the moments where Parter, whatever his name is, and Krennic, like telling him to put like an EPB out for her, and he's like, "Oh, what's the charge?" And all this like over, it's like, Partigan's like,
diseased.
"She's diseased. It's infectious." Yeah. You know, what a great piece of propaganda, you know, to get nobody to help her.
Yeah. And then he does his all setup where he's like, and I was needed on Scarif hours ago.
Yeah.
Stage left of season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they all end up there. You know what I liked here is, so they go upstairs, obviously they sneak in, the Cassian and Melshi end up with Kleya.
Mm-hmm.
But then like I like how all the stormtroopers are helmetless as well. Just because they add a little bit of, just a little bit more humanity. Yeah. Yeah. SWAT troopers, especially that one dude with the mask and the mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of adds to it, I think. Yeah, they cut off the communications, so they can't communicate to KTOSO there for a hot minute. But he sees the ship come landing in.
So he takes matters into his own hand.
Yeah, so he takes matters into his own hands, which basically means he just goes and starts
punching everybody.
It's a punch. He just palms everyone and they go fine, you know, or kicks that one dude.
Just the first dude.
Yeah.
Are you here there for us? Nope.
Yeah. Nope.
Slap.
Whack.
Ah!
What kind of person?
Imagine how high that was.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Well, yeah. He's still screaming today, I think.
Yeah.
And it happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, so it's quite a fall. You know?
Fallen and then just stuck in the middle between the central gravity.
Glitch in a video game. Yeah. Inside, Kleya is very much like, I'm not going back with you. I just got you here. I need, like, Luthen's dead. Here's information. Erso, Kyber crystals, Jedha. You know, like here's the plot of Rogue One. Yeah. And they're like, no, they have to, a lot of back and forwards convincing her to come. The main reason she doesn't want to come is because she knows and it's heard down the grapevine what Yavin's like, and that everyone there hates Luthen, and she doesn't want to go there where she'll be treated like shit and he'll be treated like a monster and all that sort of stuff. So
I do love when she opens the door, it's like, it had to be you. Of course it was you. You know? Of like all the people who could have come to rescue Luthen.
Who else was coming?
Cassian, who hasn't seen him in like a year. So
yeah, but who else is coming?
Yeah, who else? I guess. Yeah. Burns. He did burn all those bridges.
Yeah. Episode ends on a cliffhanger there, I guess, with they're entering the building.
Let me tell you, that was a moment I was very glad that we got 3 weeks. I would have been pissed if it's like, what? I had to wait a whole week. Find out if
Cassian died. Oh wait, hold on. Not yet. No, it's got a couple days left in him yet.
I mean, this show does a good job of making things tense, despite certain characters will survive. Like last year with the Mon chase, like through the Senate, that was tense, despite you both knowing those 2 characters are going to get to Yavin.
Yeah, it's the when you do a good job telling a story, I guess if you get people so invested,
you get people so sucked up in the moment that
you get in the moment, you forget what you know.
Yeah,
you know? And that's good storytelling. Is. So they have that next episode starts with the next episode Jedha, Kyber, Cursor. Next episode starts with the whole shootout in the apartment. They're getting their ass handed to them because they're in a shitty position, outnumbered. They've got a couple blasters.
They took a stun grenade.
Took a stun grenade to the face, sends Kleya flying. But lucky K2SO just comes in and cleans house. And
including using Hurt as a human shield. Yeah. Literally.
The best part. Yeah. Stop right there. It's just like blasting. It's like it's great. Loved it. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I will say, because it's never addressed here, we never get a reason why K2X is not allowed guns. You know how he's not allowed guns in Rogue One until Jin finally gives him one? Yet he's got a gun here.
Maybe they just made a rule the rebels, like they say, don't give him a gun in case.
Yeah, okay. In case he turns.
Like, in case he
programming fails.
Program fails. So it's like he can do more damage with a gun, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he can do a lot of damage with a gun.
Yeah.
That's what we say.
I'm looking forward to seeing Rogue One if there is still the same level of violence from
I think there is.
Yeah.
This is more. I feel like this show's more violent and darker, as weird
Or
as that
just
is, considering
the OP-ness of the droids.
Yeah. I just remembered something we get later in this episode. I was like, thank God we got that. So then we cut from that to the rebel leaders, Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, and other people I can't remember. They are arguing with Saw Gerrera, who is just in full Rogue One Saw
Crazy.
Saw now.
He's
Saw
had a
crazy
lot
now.
of. He's been sniffing the rhino stuff.
That's right.
Whatever the gas thing that he was sniffing that other week.
Yeah. I can't remember, but yeah, he loves that shit. Hey, so they're basically like, we're trying to help you. We know you're on Jedha. Like, there's an Imperial ship above you. There's a whole Star Destroyer coming in. We know what's going on. You need to like be careful. We're trying to help you. And he's like, you're not trying to help me. You're trying to fuck me. Like,
was it? I wish you could fight as well as you lie.
Yeah, which is a good line. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what is the dude's name. I'm trying to remember. Oh, Radis is the other dude there. The Mon Calamar. The dude who the Admiral Akbar. That's not Admiral Akbar.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who leads the ship in Rogue One, obviously the big ship that comes in and everything. Admiral Radis. Yeah. Because he dies there. I saw people online being like, "Oh, it's crazy. Admiral Akbar's in this." I'm like, he doesn't look anything like Admiral Akbar. Admiral Akbar is like red. This dude's grey. What are you talking about? Also, Admiral Akbar wasn't in Rogue One or A New Hope. You crazy
He's just
fucks out there. Oh, you old Mon Cala look alike now? Like, what are we saying?
Exactly
Racist.
what we're saying.
So arguing backwards and forwards. So basically, where we at? They escape from Coruscant. They're coming back into Yavin. They have to be escorted in because, of course, they took off out of any flight plans, as K2SO likes to point out, and now they don't know if they're coming in as who they are, or could be the Empire, or who knows what's going in. So they have a whole bunch of people waiting for them when they get into the landing base. But then, so Kleya gets sent off to medical. Wilmon's already at this point, I forgot to point out, Wilmon's been put on, stay in your barracks, you piece of shit. And then basically the same happens to and Cassian after he has a argument with the whole council where they're like, why would we believe this information? It's probably bullshit.
Luthen,
this is
he's like just trying to
Luthen, he's
a
crazy person.
Yeah.
It's like taking information from Saw Gerrera. We wouldn't believe that either.
It's like
all these crazy people out there. We're trying to run a real rebellion over here. None of your bullshit. So that goes well.
Cassian's not going to put up with any of this, Luthen.
Yeah, he doesn't. He goes off. He says, none of this would exist without him, which is true. Like, as we've come to learn throughout this series. In Star Wars, they're not saying that there would be no rebellion without Luthen. There is all these little pockets of rebellions. However, all of the key players, a lot of the key players, we learn
have ties,
have come through Luthen at this point.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't realize. Yeah, that Bail was so anti-Luthen, I guess. And Cassian doesn't like. It's put it out later.
It's probably because of like when Cassian gets asked when's the last time he saw him. He's like, a year ago when I was sent to save Mon. Save Mon. And then Bale's like, note taken. Yeah, because somebody's nearly got it killed by hiring the wrong people, Bale.
Yeah.
We want to talk about not trusting people, Bale? Piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's why they got different actor, because this one has to play the bad guy.
Yeah.
in the scene, you know? So then they we get the other scene where we get to see I had to find his name, but where'd I put it? Partagaz. Great scene. He's listening to the manifesto done by that kid in season 1.
Merrick, I want to say.
Off
the top of my head.
I have no idea. But whoever. The kid that inspired Cassian in episode 3, I think. Like off
5.
I assume. 5, was it really?
6. It was that 4, 5, 6 arc.
Yeah. Oh, it was the second arc, wasn't it? Yeah.
Namek. Namek.
There you go. He's listening to his manifesto and going, "Who is this person?" and whatnot. And then, basically, he has the realization that he sees the downfall coming. He sees what's on the horizon before anyone else is able to, and he decides to just remove himself from the equation.
His little piece of rebellion? Who's to say? There you go. So then we see. I don't think we see too much. I mean, we see Gedvel,
montage,
who goes to see Cassian after Mon asks him to go, her to go see Cassian to find out about
out if the story's the bullshit or not.
Yeah, and they toast all the people they lost on the journey. Which is a really sweet scene. Like mentioning Cinta and Cassian's mom. Again, lots of drinking. And then we also get Kleya taking all the stuff off her, leaving the infirmary and just kind of wandering Yavin in the rain in what she was wearing on Coruscant. I guess kind of purposeless, at the moment. Before she's rescued by Vel, who takes her to her house, I guess, whatever. So
yeah. And we get basically I had to look up his name as well. Tivik, who is the dude that, but the first time we see Cassian in Rogue One, is the person who's about to meet his unfortunate demise. But he's trying to call in and speak to people because he's basically working with Saw, or he's an informant to them, basically stationed on Jedha, more or less. But he's refusing to talk to anyone other than Cassian. So as soon as they started saying all this stuff, I'm like, now we're getting to we're lining up the pieces now. So then we get, as Cassian gets permission to go out on his mission to meet up with Tivik on the Rings of Kefrene, or something like that.
We'll find out next week.
You'll find out next week. It says at the start, how one of my favorite things about Rogue One is all the lower third titles of all the plants and stuff. So I'm pretty sure it's Rings of Kefrene. But he, as Cassian gets his cool last slow motion walk down the ship there, we do see a bit of a montage that gives us some final scenes of characters, including Dedra just crying in her cell.
She is in a Narkina-esque prison.
Yeah.
And she ain't gonna. She ain't.
And you know what they say? There ain't one way out for her.
No, they figured out how to stop.
And she can't swim either.
No, I give her a week. She's gonna jump on that floor.
Yeah, she's gonna join the rest of them off themselves, I think.
But what a poetic ending for her.
Oh, it's great. Loved it.
Very satisfying.
Yeah. I don't feel bad for her at all. That's one of those characters who, unlike, what's his face?
Cyril.
Cyril. Unlike Cyril, where you saw that he was legitimately having a change of heart because he was feeling bad for the real.
Well, it wasn't only that. The more I've listened to a bunch of stuff in the week since, he was always about justice. And he thought the Empire was on the right side of history.
Yeah, he thought he was on the right side of history, and he was finally seeing through the veil.
Yes,
And that moment of him looking around the courtyard is him seeing almost for the first time in years the reality of what he's been part
His
of.
actions. Yeah.
So she doesn't do that though. So I have no reason to feel bad for her just because she's a princess. I'm like,
no,
you deserve to be there. You little fuck. Like, but shout out to I hope I can't remember the actress's name either off the top of my head, but I hope old Jennifer gets some more work.
Well, she's in that Stolen Girl show that's currently on Disney Plus. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because she's not saying this is like her first role or whatever, but obviously I think this is a breakout role for her. It's a major co-starring piece. Big thing for her. Yeah, then we get who else is in the montage?
Mon and Belle. They're chatting it up.
Oh, they're having dinner.
I
like how we see Mon's. I think it's important that Mon's eating with the people.
Yeah, she's one of the people.
She's not over there having some royal, super rich. We see her husband.
Yes,
with what I can only assume is a prostitute.
No, people have been saying that's Scullion's wife.
Who?
Her daughter's mother-in-law.
Oh, really? Right. Okay. What are we on Game of Thrones now?
Yeah, kind of. But like, he kind of just looks depressed, I guess.
Yeah.
He's drinking during the day. She's passed out during the day as well. But
yep, she's already passed out. I didn't think it was at first I thought she was holding a bong in her hand. So like, I was driving past, I'm like, she's just got a glass bong. Like, what the?
Yeah.
No, it's glass wine or something. Yeah. See there, as Cassian's walking past that lady, we get to see the old Force lady again.
The Force healer.
This time he gives a little sup.
Yeah.
Sup head movement, Yeah. Good.
Yeah, she knows.
Anything else from the montage before we get to the
we get Wilman
shot?
One last time.
Wilman shot,
we see Melshi and that running, doing laps, prepping. I think that's most of the stuff in the.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good time to point out what a fantastic score by Nicholas Britell.
Through really, really good
entire series, and it was pointed out in the behind the scenes thing throughout the entire season. They've kind of slowly transitioned from like an electrical sounding score to something more orchestral here at the end to lead into Rogue One.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
makes sense.
Good shit.
Yeah. We do get the one line, I forgot to say, but before he leaves to go on his ship, Bail tells Cassian, may the Force be with you. And which is the first time that's said in the show, I believe. I don't think anyone said that.
Yes, I believe
before.
So.
Yeah. But yeah,
maybe
I mean, so Cassian, maybe, don't know who. But yeah, so then Cassian gets into the ship. He takes up Erso. He goes to Tivik.
End of show.
Yeah, imagine. Oh, I'd say the shot of Kleya just looking out and seeing the people like marching off around her. The slightest, I think, perfectly acted. Slightest smile.
Yeah.
Slightest upturn of her lip as she's looking around and seeing what's. How you view it as like she's viewing this as what Luthen's built towards, what she's even helped build towards. So but it's definitely not overdone. I appreciate just the slightest.
Yeah, another great performance by that actress. Kind of elevated her role this batch of episodes. So.
Then we also see so it was Saw on Jedha just looking out a window and
Krennic looking
at on
the Death Star.
Window at the Death Star. Yeah, his favorite thing to do is just stare at that thing.
Yeah. That's the only thing you can do because it's not working.
Yeah. And then the final shot of the episode, because there's always that thing like, how are they going to end this series?
Yes.
Like, where are we going to go to? And we actually go to we see firstly a shot of B2 Emo.
Yes, finally.
Confirmation, he's good.
He's good. He's happy. He's playing with his friends, chasing him around the harvest fields.
Yeah. And then we get what is probably the most...
we do earlier, like, obviously not really setting this up, but like kind of foreshadowing, I guess, in hindsight. Bell telling Cassian he should go see Biggs. Yeah,
and he says, no, she's safer without me and all that sort of stuff.
But then her hinting you should while you've got time,
And yeah, we see Bix walking through the fields, and she's carrying a baby, presumably Cassian's baby.
Yes.
And yeah, we just get the very somber ending of a shot of her holding a baby, looking out, and of course us viewers knowing that Cassian's in a ship on his way to meet up with someone who will then send his life into a trajectory that ends with him dying on Scarif a couple days from now.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Perfect ending in my eye. I don't really know what.
He's fighting for a sunset that he'll never see, but his child will. So, very beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was good. I have no complaints. I thought it was a really good ending.
Yeah.
It sort of is like it's what he's fighting for.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't know it, he's fighting for Bix.
Yes.
He's fighting for everyone, but at the end of the day, I'm sure that when he's a driving force to keep fighting in the rebellion is he's fighting for Bix, he's fighting so she can live safely out there. And whether he doesn't know it or not, he's fighting for his child now as well.
Do you reckon she knew when she left last week?
Maybe. We'll never know, eh? We'll never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Great series.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. I do really feel wrapping up the series. I feel like people's thoughts on this series is one of those shows I can be like, do you actually like Star Wars? What's that you didn't?
Your
like
level of Star Wars fandom,
Yeah. What sort of Star Wars fan are you? You just want flippy lightsaber shit or good storytelling? Or both? Because I'm a fan of both.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Anything else before we wrap up?
No, not really. I mean, it's rough. Montera, this is. I don't know to bring it back to Rogue One, but she's looked fantastic in this series, and then that haircut. I guess there's a few things they don't have on Yavin.
You gotta blame the 80s haircut that they gave her.
They don't have Coruscant hair supplies here on Yavin, and condoms apparently.
That's true. They probably are hard to get by. You can't just swing past the servo, you know what I mean?
All right. Here's the question. 2 questions.
Okay, 2 questions. Wow, they're doubled already.
Yes. In what order would you recommend people watch Rogue One and Andor?
That's a hard one because I don't feel like there's a wrong way.
I don't know. Do you feel like this show works without the context of what's going to happen in Rogue One?
Well, that's the thing, right? I feel like here's the trade-off. If you watch this first and then watch Rogue One, you're missing some of the poetic moments like that final shot. You're missing the nuance there. However, it's going to add something to your viewing of Rogue One after.
Because
you're now going to care about those characters.
Yeah, you're really going to care about Cassian.
So, that's hard. That's a really hard one. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to sit on the fence and say I don't think there is a pick.
And then my second question, which I foreshadowed in another podcast. Is this the best prequel ever?
So you're just going all prequel content full stop.
Full stop, yes. Which, for people who know Dylan, is a massive Better Call Saul fan.
No, it's not. It's still Better Call Saul.
Is it number 2 there?
I was trying to think of what number. Yeah, I was trying to think if I would put it at 2 because it's definitely not 1. That was already a. I'm trying to think what number.
If only Rhea Seahorn had showed up in the last episode.
Whatever prequel sort of stuff is there that's actually good? Let's Google this. Well, the first result is Andor. I said, what? I said prequel TV shows or movies. And out of all the lists of stuff here, yeah, I'd say this is number 2. Just make sure I didn't miss anything? You're going to say yes, surely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. People have like, it's like 1923, 1883, Young Sheldon, The Penguin, Lord of the Rings, Rise of Power, Dune Prophecy, Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, Aliens Earth, that's not even out. Welcome to Derry, that's not out.
There's some interesting ones. Indiana Jones, The Temple of Doom. Pearl.
Yeah, sure.
Prometheus. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I guess all those Planet of the Apes movies. Cruella.
Yeah, this is number 2.
Furiosa. On this list, it says Wonder Woman. And then sequel is Wonder Woman 1984. That's dumb. It's released in
What's the prequel to? It's just
the
a
prequel
movie.
to the sequel movie.
What?
I don't know.
That's dumb.
Fucking Google.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, look, another great TV show, another great Star Wars series. Sort of feel like I'd been looking forward to this for years now.
Do you want them to fill in the gaps that we kind of, obviously we've jumped ahead a year every single time.
Oh, no. Leave it alone. Leave it be. It's fine.
I think you can tell stories around. I don't think you need to tackle these core group of characters.
In what and why?
No, like just they're going to want to tell more stories about the rebellion prior. You've set these canon events in motion,
I hope not. Because every time they do anything in this time period, I do go into it assuming it'll be shit because it's just so oversaturated. And getting something like this, which is as good as this is the rarity. Like this is the rare case where it's actually good. So just leave it be. That's why I'm more excited for the stuff that's set
later.
Later, or I was excited for TV shows set way before.
Yeah.
That was a good idea too.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have kept going with that.
Is there any character that you'd like to see more of?
No, the only character I would have liked to see more of would have been like Ruthven and Kleya, but
well, now you do because they're gone. Because it's gone. There's no show, no hope.
Yeah, so
I know. I like to see more of Mon, possibly post, like Return the Jedi builder. As I've discussed before, I think.
I'm not against if they did like a Mon Mothma series that was set during the time of
the New Republic.
Return the Jedi. Like, you start it, Return the Jedi, and then you follow it through.
Gives Chewie that medal, and then
yeah,
the Force Ghosts disappear, and then we go.
The reason I don't think that show would do good is because
you don't trust anybody.
Well, no, I don't trust anyone to write it because it's a very political show. Once again, like that's the you go from them winning the battle to okay, well, how the fuck do we set like
how do we start again?
How do we start again? They're making new laws, new regulations. Like they're resetting the galaxy. They're having to basically change over entire law enforcement across entire. Like it's just such a like the whole show would be super politically driven in a way that I don't think most people would be interested. I'd watch that though. I think if you started it, you would start it during Return of the Jedi, so you get to see her reaction to the Emperor dying and everything. That would be cool. But then you follow it through for the next couple of years, post that into the New Republic. But the other problem with that is if they did that, then they would have to cast someone as Leia.
That's true.
Because she becomes such an integral part of the government.
They recast somebody in this, so
yeah. But
they recast somebody in Ahsoka. Maybe they're finally going to bite the bullets and realize they need to do that.
I would, because but they wouldn't. They would bring her back as one of those corpse AI fucking things.
Not for her. Well, it just depends on how involved they want her to be.
They did it for Luke for an entire episode.
Yeah. That was so well received.
Yeah.
They haven't done it again since.
Yep. Well, yet. Wait until that goddamn Mandalorian Grogu movie. And on that note, thank you very much for joining us for the final season of Going Rogue, our Andor spoiler show and discussion here on Holocron Entries, here on ExplosionNetwork.com. Should probably, I haven't said this yet, but now that we've finished this and everything else, probably want to watch those Tales of the Underworld episodes and do something on that in the next little bit.
Sure.
But we'll be back next week to talk about our thoughts of Rogue One watching it post Andor. So that will be a bonus episode. And then I'd say after that, let's actually talk about Tales of the Underworld. And then I have no idea when our next Star Wars show is.
I assume we'll talk about Vision Season 3 when that comes. That's probably the next thing.
But
that's
like when's the next proper Star Wars thing, you know?
Ahsoka.
It's the movie, I think, next year. Is it Ahsoka? They just started filming that. Surely the movie will come out before, yeah. So we'll see. Anyway, it's nothing more this year. I don't like. It's going to be next year, I presume. So, all right, cool. Thank you very much. Join us next week as we discuss Rogue One for I think the third or fourth time on ExplosionNetwork.com, but this time under brand new precincts. Until then, may the Force be with you.